Okay, let's get started here. Welcome everyone in the back and online to the April 11th regular board meeting. We get started now. Thanks. You're live at Harmon in the auditorium and streaming via Zoom as has become the norm for the past several years, or a couple years anyway.
Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Dr. Middleton? Here. Mr. Schreederman?
Here.
Ms. Kawhi? Here. And Mr. Duval?
Here. Everyone would please rise. Take the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A motion to approve this evening's agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Dr. Middleton? Aye. Mr. Schreederman?
Aye.
Ms. Kawhi? Aye. And Mr. Duval?
Aye. All right, please have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 14, 2022 regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Tiffany?
Dr. Middleton? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Kawhi? Aye. Mr. Schreederman?
Aye.
And Mr. Duval?
Aye. Dr. Raymond, accommodations and public comments.
Great, we have a couple of guests. I'd like to introduce Judy Cook, who is our co-chair of the Oakwood Inclusion Coalition, to share the annual report.
Thank you. It really is a pleasure to be here tonight to present the first annual report of the Oakwood Inclusion Coalition. You have in your packet, which I hope you've received, actually 3 documents. The first one is the annual report. The second is a chronology, which is really the history of our efforts and events of the first year as an organization. It is useful in retrospect as a tool for reflection, questioning, encouragement, and future planning. We have Healy Jackson to thank for it because she gathered all the data and put it together in the right order. Finally, the packet includes proposed outcome strategies. This is a list of possible future efforts and will be a major part of our first annual meeting, which is to take place this Wednesday, April 13th, 7 o'clock at Wright Library. Anyone wishing to come can sign up at our website. Next slide. The annual report we received is presented in 6 parts. All are related to accomplishing our mission in studying, promoting, and celebrating Oakwood as an inclusive community. Next slide. Establishing administrative structure started with a document setting forth the mission and purpose of the OIC and the way it shall function. It also establishes a liaison relationship with the City of Oakwood, Oakwood City Schools, and Wright Memorial Public Library. The guidance and counseling offered by these city institutions has been immeasurable. The early development of a website has been a great plus also. And now, as an aside, Josh Green, who is our webmaster, was chosen for his expertise, but has proven to be a valuable team participant as well. Next. And this indeed is a picture of the group of people, our leadership team, who has been meeting regularly and moving forward to establish our organization. Next slide. Engaging the community has been a major part of our effort from the very start. We began with 2 public Zoom meetings. There were 100 people that attended each one of them, and there was good discussion after each part of it. Also, there's been 2 big reads, 55 participants, 7 sessions, 2 books were offered, one Cast and the other The Righteous Mind. Very different reads, but both bringing good discussion. Also, in community participation, we this year decided to participate in the 2022 Martin Luther King Walk in Dayton. There were over 70 people, 70 of our members, who went to the walk with the banners of the OIC on them waving. So we were happy for that. Next slide. Operating with solid financial standing. The IRS granted us a 501c3 status in May of 2021. At the end of the year, we had a balance of $10,991.53, which were largely, if not entirely, the work of Dan Turbin, who is here with us tonight, who is our fundraising chairman and who does not mind asking anybody for money. Also, with the Dayton Foundation is supportive of us in that they have offered us a fund on their foundation so that people, if they wish, can give us money through that. Fundraising is an ongoing thing. We particularly would like to raise enough money to fulfill what we need to do a community research proposal because we think that would be very valuable. Next slide. Achieving community impact. There has been a great deal of participation in community efforts that support diversity by our citizens and by our members. A few that come to mind, the NCCI Diversity 101, Miami Valley Environmental Justice Academy, the Gem City Market Opening, the Oakwood Historical Society Tour, and also the time that we had the supremacist, the white supremacist stickers put up along our borders, and we publicly denounced this, and with the help of the safety department, we're able to remove them. This is absolutely in opposition to the work of OIC. Realizing the mission, 3 tenets to our approach is study, promote, and celebrate. The challenges of the pandemic is what greeted us as we started, which limited us quite a bit, but we did not lose our ongoing commitment, which is that of nonpartisanship, which means open to everybody. Our efforts would have community connections, and we will constructive collaborations with other people that are working toward the same thing. I really cannot.
Next slide.
I'm sorry. One of the things that we did in our work is for the last year as a leadership team was to work to develop a strategic framework that we could use in the future. And we had the benefits of Kathy Hollingsworth as a facilitator. She is a fabulous facilitator and helped us a great deal. Now, we have arrived at the strategic framework proposal, and these are events and programs to realize 2 purposes. To bring citizens of Oakwood together and to establish Oakwood as a welcoming community. Next slide. I really can't finish without giving special thanks to the 3 leaders who serve as liaisons to our city institutions. Norbert Clark, our city manager, is the liaison for City Hall. Kyle Ramey, our school superintendent, is the liaison to the Oakwood City Schools. And Chrissy Hale, the director of the library, is the liaison to the Wright Library. These 3 leaders have served as a great gift to our city. They all have given countless hours. I'm not sure it was hours they really had to give, but they have given them. They offer guidance, support, and encouragement in our mission. Their knowledge and expertise has been great contribution. Perhaps most of all, it has been given in a way that shows they are supportive of our mission, and that is so important to us. Thank you. You're all mostly here. Finally, for anyone who has supported us, who's been a participant in our program this past year, we thank you and look forward to that.
Thank you so much. And can I add just one thing? The design of the slides and the branding of the OIC logo, that was done through the work with UD in their design program, senior design program. Dr. Crum really helped us to coordinate that and make that happen.
Absolutely. It was a project of students from UD and their professors and with the support and I think good suggestions from Project Crum.
Thank you very much. People don't know Judy, she is an icon. It's really a pleasure to be able to serve with her. The rest of the team. Thank you. We continue to make progress. All of that is available, all the information, the chronology and so on is on the OIC website as well. Thank you. Next, couple of special guests. We have Deshaun Wilson and Elise Havashell. We'll talk a little bit about the Principal Superintendent Advisory Council. Deshaun reflects coming back.
Good evening, board members. So I'm a senior at Oakwood.
I'm also a senior at Oakwood, and I'm Elise Havashell.
Yeah, so we are here to represent the Principal Superintendent Advisory Board, as Dr. Ramey said. So the roles and are things we keep talking about. Actually, this past meeting, we had an open discussion about the robes, and we heard from both opinions about it, of like why we shouldn't change them and why we should. But just a thing to express that all views are heard, and none are one side is more like sincere or like everyone that has an opinion can voice it as part of our meetings. We are very inclusive, so that's a big thing. We're actually getting samples from for students to like look at them, new designs maybe if we do end up going in that direction next year and the following years after that. And we just really want to like make this like make sure that everyone before we make a big decision on this thing, because this will affect like thousands of future students, so that this is the right choice that we make.
One of the other things we talked about was like college counseling. Obviously, as seniors, we are going through this process where many of them are done. I still have a decision to make. But one thing we were touching on was to maybe start bringing up sophomore year in the 4th quarter. Obviously, high school is a time to have fun and go out and not constantly be stressed about college. But if there is a point when things need to shift focus, and I definitely think 4th quarter, sophomore year is a good time because it allows students to kind of start thinking about, oh, maybe this summer I can start touring places. And a great time for that would be during our September time. We have it every day. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is mandatory that we go. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays is optional, but that's mostly time to get caught up. But definitely during that Monday, Wednesday, Friday time, we think that maybe like counselors meeting with some of the students in their classes or some video of some sort would be a great time to start touching on that. And
Oh, yeah, so, and then for us, I think it was prom this year, to go back to the name rights too, which is lovely this year, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, last year was fun at Schuster Center. Thank you to Elise for allowing juniors to go to that last year during COVID. But this year we get to go and it'd be very fun. They actually came up with our themes for prom.
yeah, we just decided the theme for prom is gonna be masquerade, and then after prom is like casinos, so like cars and stuff like that, which is
Under 21 still, so look out. And then also, our thing also that we brought up was senior service, thing that each year that we do. This year, we're going to be doing beautification of the school, which is, again, like fixing our high school, making sure that everyone that passes on Quarry Hills can see how beautiful it is in the front, and make sure that it's kind of like proud of like that is our high school, and that the whole community can pass that and know that our school is in great hands.
And I will say, last year they did something similar. I think it was the same thing. And I heard tons of great feedback from the seniors last year. I know that when I was walking through the halls, they were having a great time outside, doing all the work, and it looked beautiful afterwards as well. So I think that is a great senior service.
Definitely, and also we get 2 weeks off for seniors, so I mean, we get to work, free labor, you know what I mean? And so that is some of the big issues that we've hit, and
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Also kind of going off with college counseling too is, I know our junior year, our counselors gave us this like big checklist of things we should be looking for in colleges and like things we need to be looking out for, like deadlines and due dates. And I know personally, and I heard a lot of other seniors say, that was extremely helpful for them. It was very helpful for myself, and I think that's something great that they were saying they were going to continue, and I know they've done in the past too, so that was something really great. And then our last thing that I had on mind was the mulch sale. We just had our mulch sale this past Saturday. Of course, it had to snow the entire time we were out there, and the moment we stopped, the sun came out. But that was great. I think we sold over 1,500 bags. We made a lot of profit. I got all money. It was great, and I think my advisor was saying that we lowered the cost of the prom ticket by $10 compared to last year. So instead, I think it's $60 instead of $70, which is obviously great. I mean, I think that's a lot better at least. Considering the Dayton Institute is obviously an expensive place, and so is the catering and everything. But I know I'm excited, and it's all worth it in the end too.
Also, to make sure that we have the best prom in the Dayton area, so that's one thing that we need to brag about. But no, so to wrap that all up, do any of you guys have questions that we can answer, or just we can like, go further into detail? No, big accent.
And let me just say thank you to both of you as far as stand up and talk to us. But you guys do a great job. We certainly appreciate it. On behalf of Dr. Waller and myself, thank you for your willingness to step up, and not only here, but in the meetings and ask the tough questions and poke at things and provide that input. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Over the last couple of weeks.
Much more than a couple weeks. Those of you that are, you're welcome to sneak out if you want to, move in accommodations and that will feel like you have homework to do. Okay, so we have a long list of accommodations here, so forgive me as I work through them. We just got a notice, congratulations to Smith Elementary and Harmon School for being designated Purple Star Schools by Ohio Department of Education. Purple Star award signifies that schools commit to military families and to the students. Both schools conduct military kids club as a build connection with students who have family members in the military. In addition, the page on the district webpage provides important information for families transitioning into and out of the Oakwood schools due to military assignments. A special thank you to Smith School Counselor Amber Parrott and Harmon School Counselor Michael Wadham for their efforts to meet the needs of the military population. There are a lot of military families that move in and move out, and some that move out and then they come back. So that's a little special designation, and that was in Bardo until It was a successful season for Oakwood Destination Imagination, with 13 teams this season at regionals. 4 teams placed first, 2 teams placed second, 2 teams finished third, and 1 was fourth. 4 teams made up the youngest students, and they were named Rising Stars. Thank you to the students, the staff, the coaches, and the families for all the participation and support. Destination Imagination is another one of those great programs, and it's really nice to be able to be doing those events again this year. Congratulations to 3rd graders from Harmon and music teacher Scott Forney. The group has been selected to perform the national anthem at the Dayton Dragons game on June the 5th. That'd be a great day, and I know that lots of families will be attending that as well. Congratulations to Oakwood High School student Caleb Wessner, who is this year's recipient of the Franklin B. Walter Scholarship. Franklin B. Walter Scholarship is on behalf of a superintendent who was at Dixie and then moved over to Columbus and was part of the State Department there. Did wonderful things, and so we have a large county-wide luncheon. Great stories. Students get to choose a teacher of influence. So Caleb's teacher of influence was Tony Rainberger, and Tony has touched an awful lot of students' lives. He's one of my daughter's favorites. So we had lunch together and were able to say something nice about Caleb. Caleb said something nice about him. It was a nice, really nice event that the ESC puts together. Congratulations to the following Oakwood High School winter student athletes. In girls basketball, MNF, Olivia Grant were named SWBL first team. Sadie Pinoson was named honorable mention. For boys basketball, Will Maxwell, Keon Wright, and Jack Epley were named SWBL first team, and Gavin Pryor was named honorable mention. Will Maxwell was also named to the All-Ohio Division II first team, so he's all-state as a junior, so good for Max. Will Maxwell from that. So, in wrestling, congratulations to Garrett Meter, Sam Lazenby, and Aaron Cunningham and Carter Stack, who were all district qualifiers. Congratulations also to the Oakwood High School swim and dive teams on a successful season. The girls placed second in the swivel, and the boys were the swivel championship. Both boys and girls teams had several qualifiers advanced to the districts and then to state. At state, Sam Campbell won the 500 meter, with Tristan Chrysler coming in third. Campbell and Chrysler were joined by Truman Brunn and Nate Pennington on the 400 free relay team, which placed second. Chrysler also picked up third place finish in the 200 IM. And for diving, Canada placed 20th overall. Swimming and diving, all winter sports really had a great season. Got a few more here. Thanks for bearing with me. Congratulations to the 4 Oakwood High School students who made up the Answer for Cancer team and this year's Leukemia and Lymphoma Society Student of the Year program. Emma Almany, Aaron Geller, Grace Barr, and Anna Neff raised more than $68,000 for LLS and its fight against cancer. Students in the Dayton area raised an impressive $415,000. Congratulations to the 20 Oakwood High School students who participated in the 13th annual Harlem Entrepreneur Competition. The program, facilitated through the Oakwood Schools Foundation, provides students the opportunity to explore the world of business. After shadowing an entrepreneur, students write an essay detailing their experiences, and judges award prize money based on the student essays. And that lunch or that breakfast was about a week or so ago. Again, a really nice thing. Mr. Harlemer passed away this past year, and his son, Bruce Harlemer, was there. And I believe that it's going to continue. Very generous. Even his passing. That's an awful special thing. Congratulations to the Oakwood Board of Education upon the receipt of the 2021 Effective School Board Gold Level Award from the Ohio School Board Association. That's OSBA. This award is presented to school boards that demonstrate a high effective, systematic approach in meeting district goals. The board is comprised of Todd Duwell, President, John Wilson, Vice President, Lauren Kawhi, Laura Middleton, and Finally, the Oakwood Board of Education would like to commend all the Oakwood school students who have participated in special clubs and those sport programs throughout the entire school year. We recognize them throughout the school year intentionally, rather than one big event decided to spread it out. And that was by far the biggest list of accommodations that we've had in a long time.
Thanks for breath, and we'll move on to public comments. I believe we have one tonight, and I would invite Mrs. Whalen down to speak.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
My name's Tamara Whalen. A little background. My husband and I grew up here, 8th grade sweethearts. We left and came back to raise our family, and I just want to read your families have done. We raised our 4 children. We now live in Oakwood. Between them, we have been blessed with 12 grandchildren who live in a circle around us. We love our community and our schools, and we are invested in seeing them succeed. I have never felt compelled to speak at a school board meeting, but I am here now because what is currently going on in our schools is unprecedented. Having said that, I implore you to seriously consider these 3 requests. 1, let parent volunteers back into the schools, please. Parents want to have an active role in their children's education. Much of Oakwood's success has always been a healthy relationship of cooperation between the schools and the parents. Don't shut out one of your greatest assets, engaged, interested, and supportive parents. There's no legitimate reason to delay opening our schools up for parent volunteers immediately. To deny access creates suspicion and mistrust. Number 2, reassess how you communicate with parents. Parents should be viewed as valued partners in education and treated as such through open and honest communication. Lack of or ineffective communication creates distrust, frustration, and divisiveness. Number 3, stop the trend of families fleeing our schools. As I am sure you are aware, several Oakwood school families are either removing their children, considering removing them, or opting to homeschool. I am personally aware of at least 18 different families doing just that, and I'm sure there are more. In a community this size, that is an alarming number. Please, as a board, you need to ask these questions of yourself. Why are so many families willing to sacrifice all this community has to offer and look outside the district to educate their children? What is the root cause? What can we do to reverse this trend? In my 39 years living here, we have always had well-respected superintendents, Dr. Resch, Dr. Ilk, Dr. Scalzo, and Dr. Hennessy. Each one faced their own challenges, but I have never witnessed this level of division and frustration among the parent community until this current moment in time. For the first time ever, I am witnessing the district parents fleeing in search of a more inclusive relationship between parents and the school. In conclusion, the buck stops with you, Kyle, Todd, Darren, John, Lauren, and Laura. If this trend continues, the consequences may include a drop in home values, less money for the city and schools, and interesting topic. My husband and I have chaired 2 levy campaigns for Oakwood in the past. And in this current environment, you can potentially be facing a very difficult levy campaign. Thank you for your time.
Dr. Lang Curriculum Showcase, please.
Yes, tonight you're going to see some information about our Convergent media students. They're having an amazing experience thanks to a new studio and real world technology.
And then it'll get kind of the effect that you want of like the the symbol coming down and the video coming up.
The idea for the studio came about when the broadcast class and the news class were integrated together, actually right in the middle of the pandemic. And I decided that if I was going to teach a broadcast course, that we did not have the tools needed in order to really teach true broadcast skills. So what I did is I sat down and met with people who could really tell me, like, what tools do we actually need to create a real world experience so that students could leave a journalism course with not only writing and photography experience, but also video and broadcast experience, including podcasting as well.
Over the past 3 years, a club called Hope Squad has tried to bring awareness to students' emotional and mental health.
Yes, so that's the thing about journalism skills is they are life skills, especially in the world that we live in now with the integration of technology everywhere. The idea of knowing how to take a solid picture or to shoot quality video is not something that's just for journalism people anymore. And actually everybody is a journalist if they do any sort of storytelling at all. And so with that, even if they don't stay in the journalism field, the tools of solid, concise writing, of being able to shoot video and quality pictures, to be able to record audio that's quality and get your message across, all of these things are tools and skills students can take into their post high school experience to be able to apply to really any career at this point.
I'm going to be here next year as our producer and set director. So I'm learning all that stuff this quarter, and then I'll take it over next year. And I'm probably going to do it again my senior year. I really enjoy this class. It's kind of the highlight of my morning. And so just getting a wider reach to students and being able to produce a full show as if you would in real life is a really great opportunity for learning.
The most exciting part of getting all this new tech and everything has got to be just learning about it, just learning how everything works, learning how to control the monitors, control the cameras, different processes and things like that that we are getting to be involved in now. It's just really exciting. To understand what goes on, like exactly what goes on behind the scenes, and kind of can prepare me for what I'm gonna see in college. And it just gives me kind of another thing that I can tell the colleges, like, hey, I know this, I know what I'm doing. And it gives me a leadership role. I'm gonna be the set director, and so that's really exciting.
Teacher trivia, strength training.
So the only thing is that's 2 Natalies and 2 RJs, if that makes a difference.
I love the creativity that you get to bring to each of the videos that you do. You get to kind of put your own personal spin on everything that you do in this class, and you have a lot of freedom with that too.
There is absolutely no way, I'm just like looking around at all the things that are here, that I would have been able to do this without the support of Dr. Waller and the Oakwood Schools Foundation and the Alumni Association. The connections and the bridges that they helped me build in order to build this, there's absolutely no way I could have done this on my own. And I am just so grateful that they saw this vision that I had and saw the value of these skills, and that alumni were just as excited as I were, and they were happy to donate to be able to give the kids this experience, because it just would have never happened without them.
Thank you. This is something we couldn't do on our own. No fundraiser could get us this kind of equipment, and it's a really great opportunity that someone was willing to step up and give up some of their hard-earned money to help us do this.
Next year, continuing that momentum, really solidifying those skills with, I've got about 18 new students coming in, which is the highest number that we've ever had join a journalism course within the news section. So we've got a lot of new interest in really training those skills and giving it that time and that space to do that. And then maybe in the future, having shows more frequently. We'll just have to see how it all goes with student numbers and all those things, but we are really excited to see where this is going to go.
Someone who was in the video production business, and they happen to know the installer who was putting in our equipment and which lives actually across the state. And one of the things he said was how impressed he was with the level of equipment that was going in our
Thank you, Dr. Lang.
I think that's a great example of the Alumni Association and being able to work with the foundation to create that conduit for people that want to donate and do special projects like that. That was an old storage space back in the back room that was used a little bit as a place for some video. That's a whole new level of studio and sophistication and great preparation for the students who want to step into that. It's quite impressive.
Great. Moving on to board reports. Mr. Wilson, I'll look to you first.
All right, from the Open Alumni Association, in terms of communication, the alumni newsletter went out in the first week of March, and they will be collecting information for the next newsletter in the next few weeks. Social media, many notable alumni have been featured on Facebook and Instagram, and they plan to start highlighting submissions for the newsletter updates on social media features as well. Working with reps on class websites to post reunion details and update info and missing classmates. So if you know any missing classmates out there, it's a good time to connect with them. Upcoming project is to streamline the alumni section of the website and make it more user-friendly for folks, and catching up on the backlog of contact forms that were submitted during the position transition. In terms of reunions, assisting in the planning of one summer, and they are planning many fall reunions, working with the OSF on class donations, currently updating information and helping class reps with locating classmates. Fundraising in partnership with the OSF, the Howard Sales Scholarship, the Alumni Band Room, class gifts, and the William Hewitt Studio, which we just saw, and assisting with contact information for the Flourish fundraising. And finally, events, the William Hewitt Studio dedication will be held on April 18th at the high school. Bill Hewitt, his family, and many additional alumni will be in attendance. After being postponed, this is a very exciting for Bill, OSF, and the Alumni Association, the school's donors, and everyone involved. And is that an open invitation for the community to come in, or is that more of a small select?
It's a pretty small.
It's a small space, so okay, all right, that would be good. And I actually attended the Oakland Schools Foundation meeting last Wednesday, and a lot of exciting things going on, doing tremendous work. Couple of highlights. I think they just hit their $1 million mark for donations and funds that have been raised for Oakland Schools, which is an amazing mark together. I mean, that is just wonderful things that they've done. And the matching grant is still out there and available. So if anybody wants to write a check for $25,000 or more, that will certainly be matched by this matching grant opportunity that's out there. So open up your checkbooks.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Looking this way, Laura?
Yeah.
Cool.
So yes, I have a few reports from the PTOs. So for Smith PTO, there are a few fun events coming up. There's a children's flea market on May 1st, from 2 p.m. to 2 p.m. this month, Blacktop. Interested sellers purchase a space or table from the PTO as a fundraiser, and all sale money goes to the PTO. Sellers develop kids items, clothing, toys, etc. And any unsold items can be taken back home or left at Smith, where the PTO will donate them. Also at Smith on May 7th, there will be a Smith night at the Dayton Dragons. And they will also be selling Kona ice on the Blacktop on the last day of school. The Smith PTO will receive a portion of the proceeds. Plans are in motion for the 6th grade recognition ceremony. There will be a recognition ceremony and reception on June 8th, and a Harmon Smith pool party picnic at the OCC on June 9th. So that's exciting. As far as Harmon PTO, the 5th graders had a visit from the Newport Aquarium, and they learned all about penguins. And the 3rd graders, as Dr. said earlier, are singing the national anthem at the Dayton Dragons game on June 5th. It's also a fundraiser for the Harmon PTO. Half of the proceeds go to the PTO. And also, they wanted me to report too that at Harmon's last meeting, they decided to extend the officer positions for another year due to COVID, and that was passed. And then as far as the junior high and high school PTO, they've been busy doing monthly teacher appreciation lunches. And they will also be sponsoring after prom party, the senior brunch, the signs up and down Schaefer and more. So they're pretty busy.
Thank you. Lauren?
Yeah, so the athletic boosters just had their big fundraiser on Saturday, DCC, silent auction, and I don't have an update yet on how much they raised, but I think it was a very successful event, and I did talk to the fine arts boosters. They had their Young at Art fundraiser a few weeks ago, which said they raised $13,000, really exciting. And actually watching the video that we just had, about Dax Media Center, our family attended that night and got to take a tour and see that space, which is really neat. And the same young woman that was talking on the video was in the room and got to show us around, and it was great to see it in person. So she had the same enthusiasm that she had on the video, and we got to meet with her. So
Thank you. Darren?
Two pieces. Policy updates are in our board book this evening for action. They were presented our last meeting, and our technology planning committee had its second meeting since we last met, and the 4 areas that are themed for this planning committee at this time are technology equity, technology security, technology owning, and exploring the future with technology. And at the most recent meeting, the first theme of technology equity has come up, and there are 3 guiding questions that the committee was working to address. First one is, how can technology help support current and future district efforts regarding equity? Thinking about the second question is, how can we identify and close resource gaps as it relates to access to technology for our students? And then also, how can technology itself improve accessibility to education, events, programming for our students? The committee has started to focus on accessibility, and a potential goal has emerged that would address how accessibility could better include could be better included in the early adoption of software and software processes. So really identifying when the district is looking at adopting software, how and why that software is born accessible, and it has those built-in accessibility pieces for those software systems. And the other topic of conversation, likely to result in some equity-related goal, was adding student needs beyond just IEPs to electronic systems, allowing staff or having staff that is already using like the student information system or special education software to go along with that, then the needed actions and student information that would potentially be displayed to teachers. And part of that potential addition could include available technology supports and tools.
Thank you.
Let's go on there. Well, just on your way out, as you leave, swing by the playground. Yeah, it's quite impressive. You haven't had a chance to see that or be part of that. Kids are loving it. Even the older kids are loving it. Special thanks to Mike Whalen, the play care. They did a great job working with us with the supply chain, making it all happen. And once it started, getting it done right on time, just as promised. And there are a couple of things that are backward, and we'll put those up as good, like the shades, and a couple of those things. And our board took a tour of the Armored playground before we started, so I had to pull them off to get started. It's pretty special. So on your way out, take a look. It's an awfully nice thing for kids.
Thanks, Dr. Rainey. Let me turn to you for budget and finance.
There's a recommendation to establish a capital projects fund, USAS code 070.
Motion please to approve the recommendation at 5A.
So moved.
Tiffany.
Real quick, if I could, we don't currently utilize fund 070, and code requires that the board pass a resolution authorizing me to create this fund. This fund is how we plan to run our donations in and our expenses out as a result of the Flourish campaign and the Arts Enhancement Project. And so we're on the front end of that project. And so we needed to establish this fund. Like I just mentioned, that will be the donations that come from OSF and Dayton Foundation for the project, for the Arts Enhancement Project at the high school. All right, Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Schwerman,
Aye.
Ms. Kawhi, Dr. Middleton, and Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Item B is just an informational item you have in your packets, the month-end financial report.
Number 6, unfinished business. Hearing none. Number 7, new business by the board. None. Pushing back to you, Dr. Emmy. 8, administrative reports and superintendent recommendations, please.
Thank you. Item 8A, recommendations made to approve social studies standard as presented and standards as presented at the March 14, 2022 board meeting.
Motion please to approve the recommendation at 8A.
So moved. Dr. Middleton? Aye. Ms. Kawhi? Aye. Mr. Schwerman?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
And Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Item 8B, recommendation is made to approve policy updates as presented at the March 14, 2022 board meeting.
Motion please to approve the recommendation at 8B.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Schwerman?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Kawhi? Aye. Dr. Middleton? Aye. And Mr. Duval.
Aye.
8C, recommendations made to approve the 2023-24 district calendar.
Motion please to approve the recommendation at 8C.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Middleton? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Schwerman?
Aye.
Ms. Kawhi? Aye. And Mr. Duval.
Aye.
And so item 8D is information only presented for review of the recommended changes to the junior high and high school student handbooks for the upcoming school year. Plans that are request approval at the May 9th. Then item 8E is presented for review or the Oakwood High School proposed fees for the upcoming school year. Plans to request approval at the May meeting as well.
Sir.
All right, we have nothing under item 9 with resignations or non-renewals, but if we can take item 10, A through F.
Sure. And a motion please to approve the recommendations at 10A through 10F.
Ms. Kawhi? Aye. Dr. Middleton? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Schwerman?
Aye.
And Mr. Duval.
Aye. Takes into executive session.
It's recommended, the recommendation is made to enter into executive session for the specific purpose of considering the employment and employment of employee or official and negotiations.
Motion please to move into executive session.
So moved.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Dr. Middleton? Aye. Ms. Kawhi? Aye. Mr. Schwerman?
Aye.
And Mr. Duval.
Aye. Board will now move into executive session, and upon exiting, we'll adjourn the meeting with no further business or action being taken on behalf of the district. Thank you all for participating this evening and coming out tonight. That will end tonight's meeting.